Welcome to As Above, So Below, the Traveler Cepheus Engine mapping program that I'm releasing as I build, being built as we speak. And we're on the version 0.16 series of releases. That's letting people edit or change systems, add moons, delete gas giants, things along those lines. Let's take a quick look at how it works. I'm just going to take a look at the seed, and I'm using pumpkin with the seed, all lowercase. If you're following along at home, I'll Control S for the sector, and I'm going to generate Mongoose. And there we are. And let's just zoom in. Here is Ribolka, really small little system. Pause the insanity of everything moving there. We'll just hide the moons for the moment. And if we have this option of clicking edit system, and we can see the primary and we can see everything orbiting it. If I'd like, I can add a world, and now I have a world added, and it's going to stick it on an orbit. It's just going to stick in an orbit out there. You can see the orbit number goes from 0.269 to 1.269. So I can come in and I can say, well, I want the orbit number to be closer to, I don't know, say 0.5. There's an automatic translation to AU if you want to live in the real universe and figure out exactly what the AU distance is, but you can set that up. We can call the world whatever we like. I'll call this Gunsmoke. And if you'd like, you can fill in the UWP, and it will use that to generate the details for the rest of the world. So if I click save, there's Ribolka again, and there's Gunsmoke, and I can come out and I can look into the system, and I should see Gunsmoke, and we can see it's built out everything else with respect to the system. And there is the UWP that I set up. Excuse me. You can get a little more advanced as well if you really want to. You can change the order of the systems, of the worlds. It will. You'll see we have, for example, this is a 0.5 and this is 0.23. If I take this and move this up, Gunsmoke's now 0.23. Ribolka's back out to 1.269, and Ribolka 4 is at 1.23. So you can change these orders, and it's going to slot them into new orbit numbers that you might need to tweak afterwards. But you can place these wherever you want to place them. The main world should be moving, or if I move up, okay, there it is. So we can see the main world is there. The main world is there. Anyway, you can play around with that. It's a little clunky, but it mostly works. It should work. Let's take something a little bit more complicated. I've seen Hable before. We can go in. Now we've got primary star, a far companion, or a far secondary, and a companion to the secondary, which sort of acts like two binaries. And so when I click edit now, this follows a consistent format, this list. Indenting tells you what is orbiting what. So the fact that this companion and these two worlds are the same indentation level shows us that they're both orbiting this star. These are not orbiting this companion. If I wanted a world to orbit this companion, I could click world, and now I have a world there. You can always delete these worlds, by the way, and if you ever wanted to regenerate a world, you can click the little regenerate, and it should redo its stats. But if I add a system and I want it orbiting this far, let's say this is like really cool. It's rotary distance. It's 300 AUs from there. It's like a whole other system, right? So where's the pause? Let's just pause that. Maybe we want, I don't know, a pirate base or something out here that needs a gas giant, we decide. So we can come here and I want to add a gas giant around that companion, and I want that gas giant to have some moons. So now I have a gas giant, which I'm going to call Elvis, and we'll call this Huey. Dewey and Louie. And maybe I want the UWP for Huey to work a certain way for the pirate base or whatever you're building. And I don't care about these, so I'm going to leave them blank. And I click save, and there they all are. And I come out to Halo, and I can come into the system, and I can see Huey, Dewey, and Louie around Elvis. Other things we've changed is this system view, this accordion system view, has been basically reprogrammed to follow the exact same consistent philosophy I showed you in editing system. It wasn't this way. It wasn't always consistent. Now the indent tells you what is orbiting what, and the order matters. So you can see sometimes the stars were always at the bottom, sometimes they weren't. It frustrated the hell out of me. So this is now cleaned up, and we can see that this companion orbits this far. We know that this planet doesn't orbit this companion, it orbits this because of the indents. So that is consistent. And one other change in here now is we can, anything that we can't edit in the system editor, so the orbit ID, the distance, these were done in the system editor, but these other things now can be edited here, and that now finally includes the atmosphere. Atmosphere was something that was you were just stuck with in the previous version, but I can click here and I can add anything I want to add to the atmosphere, and if I want to change the percentages I can. And the system will even try to figure out gases, like which gases kind of make sense for this planet and its details and which ones don't. And you can still add them, but if you it just points out that it's probably breaking the model of Mongoose in order to add those, but they're there because the rule of cool is the most important rule. Finally, we can use this now if we want. We can generate a system, create it manually. It's going to create Mongoose at the moment. That's all we can do. You can set whatever star you want to do it, and now we have a system here, and I can go through and I can add the worlds, and I can go into the worlds, and I put whatever UDPs I want or belts I want. And if I just put that in and save it, I get everything was that I entered is there, but it filled out everything else on its own. You can even, if it's really important to you, to have a certain type of star, and I don't know, let's say you need a giant, and you know that your main, oh, I zoomed out too far. Create a manual system, a certain type of star. Open it, and there's the HCCO because it's a 3. Let's add a main world, and let's put it out to, I don't know, the orbit 7 is the hazard zone, is the habitable zone there. So I'll put it out to orbit 7. There it is. We're putting it in the 7. Let's put it to 7.2. So I've got it in the habitable zone. And now what I want to do is, we'll call this Johnny, and Johnny. Let's say I know the starport and I know the size I want it to be, but I just need other stuff, and I don't want to manually select everything. You can come down and say, okay, engine, you can fill out whatever you want, and I click save, and note, it created another world as the main world. Johnny's still there, but there's another world as the main world. We can always just click over and change what the main world is. And there is Johnny. And it's when it moved everything out, it pushed Johnny a little bit. So what I might do is move Johnny up there and maybe get his orbit down. So you notice the orbits will change as you add other things in there. But there's our planet. You can always change what the main world is by clicking on things. And now we had, if we picked our star, we picked our planet, and we just had the system build out the rest. And there it is. And there's Johnny. It's pretty much it. One last thing is, if you really like Johnny, or you're in a system or in a map that you like, and you really like a planet, and you want to take that system and maybe dump it into your own system. Maybe you're running the OTU and you want to slide in a custom system, or you want to take something from somewhere else. You can now right click and export just the system, and that's an import. I can export just the system, and there's the Johnny system down there. And if I want to, I can import it, and I can delete my map and come here, and you could. We added the travel world program. We can import those JSONs now, and there we can also now import our own version. And there's Johnny, and Johnny should look like it did. Yeah, and there it is. So that's version 0.16, the point zero. So 0.16.0 series. I've already had a few patches out, and any other patches I do around this series will happen over the next few days, and then fairly soon we'll release 0.16.1, which will include more than just Mongoose, and we'll go from there. There it is, as above, so below. Try it out; it's free. I do check YouTube from once in a while. Most of you who are watching this, the few of you that do, are probably on either the Koti discussion forums or on the Mongoose discussion forums. That's where I hang out. So I've got threads in each, and if you want to, I mean, I'm the only guy testing it. I know there are going to be bugs, so you want to raise some bugs, I'd love to hear about them so I can fix them. You can raise them there, and any requests for upgrades you would like to see, you can put them there as well. And I'm in there pretty frequently. All right, have a good one. Thank you for trying it out. Cheers.